So our next step is adding objects in which to hit. Our first is going to be a flying hippo. So what we're going to do is we want to add some flying hippos here. So you can see that right now my flying hippos are actually kind of hidden. But if I add some here, you can see that again they're hidden. So we have to make sure that we show those up in a little bit. But what we're going to do is create hippo from the library. And what we want to do is set its rotational type to left and right. So here you can see that I've already selected the left and right rotational. So we're only going to go from the left to the right and so on. And we're going to add the following line of code. So what we want to do is we want them to be hidden right off the bat. So what we're going to do is we're going to click the flag. What we want to do is we want to hide these. So we're going to go to looks and we're going to hide the location of our hippos. And we're going to create a new variable called speed. So I've already actually created this variable. So again, when you create a variable, make a variable, click speed. But we want it for this sprite only. So speed can only affect the hippo. So now that we've done that, we can actually see the hippo speed if we have it selected. Again, a nice troubleshooting piece to have here, but we are going to just hide this value here, looking at the speed. So now that I've created a speed for the hippo, I can actually have it move at different speeds. So now the next thing that we want to do is when we're looking at this, we want to look at the speed of the hippo in relationship to the game interface altogether. So the next thing that we need to do is we actually need to put in some code, which I already have done here but can take out. We want to look at the code for the hippo. So when we look at this, the biggest thing is for our speed and our backdrop. So when we're looking at that, what we want to do is we want to have our command. So when I click the green flag, I want to forever create these hippos. So I'm going to put in a forever loop. But the thing is that I want to wait also. Based off from having a wait function, now I can randomly produce these hippos. But I don't want to be able to have it reoccurring out of the same thing. So what I'm going to do is put a pick random in. And I'm going to actually set my variations from anywhere from 2 to 4 seconds. So by doing that, now I have my random hippos being created based off from that. So now based off from that, I'm going to create a clone of, and in this case, I'm going to put my hippo 1. So now based off from here, when I create, I'm going to have a hippo show up. What do I want the hippo to do? Well, going back into the hippo, I need to have some things. So when a clone is created, what do I want my hippo to do? Well, first thing I want to do is I want to set my speed of my hippo. I don't want to have this something that you can be predicting on. So again, I'm going to switch my speed of my hippo from anywhere to 2 to 4 seconds. Again, these are variables that you can change based off from the game and the level of difficulty. But also I want to have my hippo show up at a random location. But going based off from that, I want it to show up at random locations based off from the X. But I want to keep my Y coordinate pretty much the same. So I'm going to pick anywhere across the stage. So from 220 all the way to negative 220. But I want to stay on the same Y axis. So I'm not going up or down, I'm just going left to right. So I'm going to keep that Y value at 150. Then what do I want it to do? I want that hippo to actually show up. So now that I have the hippo show up, now I will have a hippo on the screen. Okay, so now once the hippo has shown up, here you can see it was randomly shown up. Now what do I want it to do is I want it to keep doing what it's doing, as in moving, and I want it to repeat until I shoot it. So show, I want to repeat until, and then I'm going to use a sensing, so I want it to be touching the lightning bolt. Okay, so I'm going to be touching, in this case I want the lightning bolt. So now that it's touching the lightning, acting as the shooting, I'm going to move based off from the speed. Okay, so speed steps. And I'm going to have it move in random directions. So in this case, I'm going to have it move or turn. And you can have it turn left or right, doesn't really matter, since you're putting in a random motion. So what I'm going to have it do is now I'm going to put in an operator, and I'm going to pick random from negative 10 degrees to positive 10 degrees. Again, now you can see the hippo is kind of driving around or flying around. Another command that I need to do, since you can see he went right off the edge there, is put if on edge bounce. Therefore, it'll continue on even if it hits the side. And then the last part that I want here for control is to delete the clone if it is indeed hit by the lightning bolt. So now you can see if I run this here, see I have no hippos. I can move my left to right, and as soon as my hippo is hit by my lightning bolt, it now disappears. So now that we've tested that out, what I want to do now is create a little bit more action with my spaceship. So now the next thing that I want to do is, since I've tested my laser cannon and I know that it actually does indeed work, when a hippo touches your spaceship, we need to have a new line of code for the spaceship to explode. So when this hippo interacts now with the spaceship, I want to have a couple different things. So looking at here, I have to have a different costume, which I have already, which is the hit costume. Okay, again, this is custom made. You can make your own if you wanted to change this a little bit. But the line of code that I need to add here, and I've actually taken this straight from the Sunshine, deleted the Sunshine's face and just poured over it, is put in the following line of code for my spaceship. So when I'm looking at my spaceship here, and I don't want it to look like the hit, so when I put in my line of code for this, I want to say win. And I really just want a forever loop because it's just going to be subsequent to this line of code. So forever win, and I'm going to have my looks here, and I'm going to switch costume to normal. Okay, so there's my normal, just my spaceship, and I'm going to wait until, there it was, wait until, and then based off from this waiting until, I don't want to change costumes until I'm touching the hippo. So I'm going to wait until touching hippo 1, and then what I want to do, well, I want to switch my appearance, so I'm going to switch costume to, and in this case I'm going to switch costume to hit. Then what am I going to do? I want to use my broadcast function. So by using my broadcast function, I can have many things take part in this. So I'm going to broadcast, and I'm going to put a new message, and I'm going to call it hit. So that means that I've been hit, and then I'm going to put in a wait function and put in 1 second. Okay. So trying this out here, might have to take a little bit to get hit by the hippo. So if I move my thing, I get hit. You can see that now it has gone to the hit piece, and might have to work on that a little bit. So what you want to do here is add the following line of code to your hippo. So now that if you are hit or hit the spaceship, we want that hippo to actually disappear. So what we're going to do is use, again, the broadcasting function, but we're going to do when receiving. So when I receive hit, what do we want to do? We want to delete that clone. So that is like the hippo themselves have been destroyed. So when I receive hit, I delete the clone, and the clone goes away. So this completes our step for creating the deadly hippo in which you have to shoot.